Kailash is one of the great inspiring leaders of the world, devoted all his adult life from the moment he finished his university studies and married a great woman, his wife Sumedha. And after finish his university studies, instead of looking for a paid job somewhere, he told his wife, I want to work towards freeing the children from slavery. And Sumedha said, yes, I fully support you on that. So the two, Kailash and Sumedha, began this journey of many decades to free children in India and South Asia and around the world from slavery. He is one of the most inspiring persons I have met. Him and his wife and the whole family, his children, his in-laws, all dedicated. And he went through harassment, physical threats, attacks, while challenging slave owners who saw him as a threat to their unethical business. So it's a great honor, privilege to introduce to you, if introduction necessary, of a great man of 21st century, Kailash Satyarthi.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to be speaking alongside my two heroes and brothers, President Ramos Horta and Dada Muhammad Yunus. More importantly, I learned that I'm addressing several thousand young people, and that is my biggest honor because I am addressing the real legacy of Madheva. I don't think that we can ever leave Madheva or Madheva can ever leave us. Though he is no more among us physically, but whenever any voice is raised against injustice anywhere in the world, Madheva is alive. Whenever there is any spark of love and compassion, Madheva is alive. When there is a cold breeze for peace, Madheva is alive. And if there is a candle of love is lit by anyone, anywhere in the world, Madheva is with us. Madheva is in this light of love. So dear friend, this is the legacy of Madheva, which most of you or many of you carries with you. And that's why you are the part of Ubuntu Young Forum. Dear friends, in the history, no change was possible without the vigor, the honesty, the morality, and the zeal, the commitment, the engagement, and active leadership of young people. And this is much more needed now. I recall when I was young and organizing a demonstration to release Nelson Mandela in India, I was arrested and beaten up by police along with some of my friends. And then there was a time when I can feel the goosebumps even now when I met him for the first time and talked about the issue of child labor and invited him to flag off the global march against child labor, which we started from three corners of the world in 1998. And one leg was started from Cape Town, the Cape of Good Hope, in front of the jail where Madheva has spent 17 or 18 years of his life. Unfortunately, he could not come. So Grasa came along with his message that was so inspiring. Then I had another chance, and I can still feel that energy and that love and the resolve to educate the world. And that was inviting him and asking him, requesting him for a message for global campaign for education. And he did it. So, dear friends, today in this situation of pandemic, so many things are happening. The new normals would be created. People are facing tremendous problems, and in the future, so many other problems are going to arise. I am talking about the involvement and participation of young people. As my brother Horta has pointed out, that I have been freeing children from slavery and trying to educate and rehabilitate them in India and many more countries. So when this COVID-19 came and started spreading, some of the former child slaves who are being rehabilitated and educated in our Balashram center, they came to know that there is a serious problem of face masks in the rural areas and among the poor people. They cannot afford to buy. My children, who were former child slaves, started thinking that how can we stitch face masks to other young people and other people who are villagers. And I tell you that those who never stitched anything, they have stitched thousands, 17 to 18,000 of masks during all these months. So that was so inspirational. Many of them decided that in their villages, they are going to keep the spirit of people alive and training them about social distancing or washing hands and some simple things. But now I'm talking about some of the big initiatives that the young people have led in the past. Today, 150, to be more precise, 152 million children are working as child laborers. But 20 years ago or so, the number was about 250 million to 260 million, something like that. And then millions of youths got united under the big banner of Global March Against Child Labor. And the physical march went across 103 countries, which was participated by 15 million people, and most of them were youth and volunteers. And they were demanding for an international law against worst forms of child labor like slavery, trafficking, forced prostitution, forced beggary, etc. The boys and girls coming from that background raised strongest possible voice in front of the world leaders in Geneva, in the General Assembly of International Labour Organization, and called upon. And their slogan was simple, message was simple, that world is not so poor that cannot take away the books, take away the tools and guns from the tiny hands and replace them with the books and toys and pencils. A new international law has been unanimously adopted, and since then the number slowed down. But now, as the consequence of COVID-19, I'm afraid that all this great achievement of collective achievements of the governments and civil society and corporations and other groups, international organization, is in serious danger. As we know that 1.6 billion school-going children, school-age children, are not able to go to school due to long closures. We also know that 370 million children and their families, those who are poor and marginalized, were largely depending on school feeding programs or conditional cash transfers. I'm afraid that many of them may drop out from the schools that we have experienced in the past in Argentina, in long closures due to Ebola and so on. So we have to prioritize. And there is another campaign which has been going on, and it has been jointly launched by many of us, including Brother Ramos Horta, and I learned that my another friend, Prince Ali, and another friend and sister, Kerry Kennedy, are also present here somewhere in this event. So we have jointly invited young people, and it was their call. They wanted to make this world safe, free, and educated for every child. Every young person should be free, safe, and educated. So 100 million young people are suffering multiple violence. But on the other hand, hundreds of millions of youth are ready to take up challenges. They wanted a strong platform, some collective action with big dreams. They have all energy and enthusiasm. So young people, alongside the Nobel laureates and other moral leaders, decided to launch this campaign, 100 million for 100 million. 100 million young people are becoming the spokespersons, the change makers, champions for the life of those 100 million who are left out and who are marginalized and victims of violence. And that has already grown in more than 30 countries during the last 2.5 years. They are influencing policies as active and responsible consumers. They are asking the big companies not to use child labor and child slaves in their supply chains. They are also demanding for laws, for due diligence, and so on. Now, the leaders of 100 million campaign, the All African Student Union, for example, the European student unions, some Latin American unions of young people and students, those who are the part of this campaign, they have launched a new initiative, new campaign, what we call Fair Share for Every Child, Fair Share for Children. And the demand is simple and clear, that 20% of the COVID-19 related budgetary allocations and funds which are allocated must go to poorest 20% children of the world. When there was about $5 trillion announcement came from the rich countries, the demand was simple and clear that at least 1 trillion should be spent for freedom, safety, health, and education of marginalized children. If we lose this, as I mentioned before, the danger is that many more children may be trafficked, may be enslaved, may be forced to work as child labor because their parents have lost their livelihood, traditional livelihoods and jobs. The poverty is going to affect everyone. But the worst affected would be the children, refugee children. That crisis is also a serious crisis, and we are collecting all information that how the children on move, those who are displaced due to global warming and other kind of violence and other things, they are already facing the problem. Now, COVID-19 has exacerbated those injustices which were already there. So this is the right time when we should learn that no problem in the world could be seen and solved in isolation. We have to learn mutual responsibility. We have to learn gratitude. And I would always call that we have to create a supply chain of gratitude. Supply chain of gratitude. That means when I'm sitting here and talking to you, I should feel that it is possible because of somebody has built this house. The masons, the carpenters, the painters, electricians, plumbers, I have to be grateful to them. We can learn this value of gratitude. If I'm eating and sitting safely, I should feel thankful to those farmers and workers and their families. I'm wearing this clothes, but somebody has stitched them. So if we learn to feel the gratitude, we can create a better society, more mutually responsible society. Therefore, dear friends, I would once again call upon the young people. You need not to look for heroes outside. Nelson Mandela is inside your veins and your blood. Gandhi is inside you. Martin Luther King and Robert F. Kennedy is inside you. There are heroes around you and inside you. You are the leader. You are the change maker. You are the champion. You are the change. You can be inspired by anyone, but you have to sit on the driving seat. You have to lead the formation of a new world. I call upon you to be the strong voices for this campaign, 100 million campaign, and in particular, fair share campaign that you can do, dear Ubuntu young friends. I would sum up with something which Indian Vedas, the sages of India have always spoken and guided us thousands of years ago. Sangachadvam samvadadvam samvo manansi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sanjananam upasate. That means let us walk together. We have to create a level playing field to walk together. We have to learn how to walk together. We have to talk with one tongue. We have to globalize compassion. We have to talk the language of love and loving kindness and the mutual responsibility. We have to join hands together for creating a better world. That is going to happen. After each catastrophe or crisis, the humanity has emerged much more brighter, much more stronger. Even in the Second World War, after the Second World War, the international community realized that we need to work together and formed United Nations. So I agree with my brother, President Horta and Muhammad Yunus, that we should not lose this opportunity. Young people are the commonwealth of entire humanity. They are the common drivers and leaders for a better future. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.